Well, our next speaker, we're really honored to have with us today. This is Dr. Hank Feuer. He is now the Professor Emeritus Neurosurgical Department at Indiana University, and he spent years managing the sideline for the Indianapolis Colts. Probably one of the original neurosurgeons who worked with these athletes in the sideline setting and has treated probably hundreds and thousands of athletes over his career. And he's going to be presenting today on his experience on, do we really want to take care of athletes? And when we say we do, are we ready for what's coming our way? And just reflections from his career. All right, so Dr. Feuer.
Junior resident, my chief resident was Joe Maroon. One day on a Friday, he asked me, do you want to cover a game for me down at IU? Sure. What the heck? Went down there. The crowd was terrible. The traffic was terrible, but I did it. 2 years later, I was in the Berry plan, supposed to go in the Air Force as a neurosurgeon. I got a letter from the White House. I didn't have to go. So I wound up sticking around in Indianapolis and kept on. They invited me down. They wanted me at the games on the sideline. A couple of years later, married my next door neighbor. We'll have our 50th anniversary this year. She understood what I was doing. 1980, dramatic change. I just left the university, started private practice, the premier group in Indianapolis neurosurgical practice, and had to operate on a superstar in the Big Ten. He did okay, and suddenly all of Indiana knew that I did that surgery. We'll talk about that later. Unfortunately, in 1984, at midnight, the Colts left Baltimore. The orthopedic surgeon who was the team physician said, "You're the only guy that knows anything about concussions and spines and whatnot. You want to join us?" There goes 2 weekends every fall. And then in 87, the NFL Combine comes to Indianapolis and stays in Indianapolis. And good, I got something extra to do 4 days a year. 330 athletes eventually coming through. I became the neuroradiologist, or I was the neuroradiologist for the Combine for several years before teams started getting their own radiologists. And since I participated and saw those players, well, why not be part of the draft process for the Indianapolis Colts? A nice 8-hour ordeal where they go over every single player in the draft they're interested in. Free agents. Every time a free agent showed up, if he had a known spine problem, could you leave sometime between your case or whatever, come see him? So on and on and on. Made an inappropriate remark, or I thought it was a joke, at the NFL Physicians Society annual meeting at the Combine. Not well received by all the orthopedic surgeons in the audience. So they stopped talking to me for a while. Textbook came out in 1995, orthopedic textbook, 66 chapters. It was one chapter, it was mine by a neurosurgeon, one chapter by a neurosurgeon. That was their way of apologizing to me and getting back into their good graces. 2004, another inappropriate remark out of my mouth to a player. Coach found out about it, fired me the next day. 2 months later, the coach was fired. They called me that day, rehired him. See? Years ago, yeah. I was right.
You killed him. That was one. Carlos.
I retired from my active neurosurgical practice in 2006. And so my gift was being hit on the sideline by the gunner. I was watching the punt, not the gunner, not the field, and had a tibial plateau fracture. 6 weeks on strict bed rest, non-weight bearing. There was something good about that. I was not on the field anymore, and the Colts won the Super Bowl that year. 2009, fired again. That was the old concussion committee of the NFL. And several months later, because of some friends high up, I was brought back on the head, neck, and spine committee, incognito, because the New York Times did not like me. 2011, a nice little fun time that I was on a Mediterranean cruise, got a call from a star back home. My right arm was killing me. Where are you? There'll be more on that later. And then becoming an UNC in 2017, an unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant, instantaneous second opinions. Insurance companies love us. So what do? I look back on all this, how things have been, how they were. It was back in 1974 when CT hit the United States, crossing the Atlantic from England. That changed things dramatically, but not dramatically enough. 1987, when the Combine came to Indianapolis, the same year MRIs were developed. Huge change, and that's probably why I was doing all the neuroradiologic work at the Combine for other teams. So it's been a long time wondering, are things better now? Yeah, they're better now. Back in 2000, I made a comment at the AANS meeting about, all the coach wants to know is, when can my athlete play again? And it was the beginning of the computer age. And I felt at that time we could do better. We are doing better. The data collection is better. Understanding mechanism of injury is better. Video analysis is superb. But the reason why do I do all this, all the games I attended, what I still love and will always love is taking care of the players, making those quick decisions on the sideline week after week, the simple stuff. Been at the Indianapolis 500 for years, for decades, taking care of some severe injuries. It's all part of what we do as neurosurgeons. And that's meant a lot to me. So I love talking to the players, the agents, the general managers, the coaches. That's all part of what you do when you get to do what I've done. So that's what I stick in the back of my mind. Would I do this again? The time spent? Yes, I would. I still love it. I don't love to sit in the stands. I want to be on the sideline. A couple of challenges I want to tell you about. There was the basketball player that I mentioned, dramatic change back in 1980. It was his coach. That's what made it different. It's one of the roughest coaches known to college basketball. And he wanted to know who I talked to. I told him the names. I later heard at a AANS meeting that he had called all those coaches. So when the player returned to practice, he walked out on the court, made a beeline for me and cussed me out for about 30 seconds. But then a few weeks later, the president of IU had him in his office. He called me to sort of apologize. And then he broadcast my name all over TV on his Sunday show. The player came back. They won 6 straight games to win the Big Ten and make it to the tournament, to the round of 16. The other challenge, everybody's heard about this young man who does a lot of good commercials now and everything else. In the Mediterranean, called, what is never mentioned in any of the articles about this that I've read over the years, is that it was a holdout where I was not allowed to see this player. Holdout started in March of 2011, ended on July 25th, 2011. He had a few problems between then. with his surgeries, and then wound up having an ACDF, which I followed very closely. He came back to he made his decision when I was in his kitchen that he was going to go with the Broncos. He came back to Indianapolis multiple times to have EMGs, and we could watch the progression of the nerve healing in the triceps as he recovered. I'm not sure the owner of the Colts was ever happy that I didn't talk him out of releasing him. You know the rest of the history. So for any of you interested in doing what I did, importantly, what level do you want to reach? You want to help with the pros? Do you want to help with the team? Do you want to be on the sideline? Or do you just want to take care of college players, just high school players, the local? But you have to make up your mind about that. The commitment is big when you make it time-wise, depending on what level you want to help. And I know that all of you have busy neurosurgical practices as I did. Second opinions are part of this whole process. Can't be bothered by that. You got to go to a lot of the neurosurgery spine seminars just to hear what the guys have to say, what everyone has to say. See if you're even interested. See if you think you know as much as they do, or you think you can do as well as they do, or you want to do you even want to bother. Networking, extremely important. And remember that sports is run mainly by sports medicine doctors and orthopedic surgeons. So when you network with not only neurosurgeons, but definitely with orthopedic surgeons, who are some of my best colleagues and still are. Stay caught up on the literature. Most of the literature over the years, not very good at all. A lot of articles. When you read them to try and find out how to take care of your player, most of the time the answer is not there. You got to network. You got to talk to your friends with the big cases, because everybody hears about them. And remember the non-surgical consumption of time. See what your partners think about that. It's important. I would not bother with concussions if you can avoid that. I know we've become in the forefront of concussions also, but if you make that part of your practice, that is really time-consuming. Stick to the spine. And lastly, when you're in this business, the personalities you deal with. You've already heard about a couple of them. Everybody, when you get to the elites, most of the athletes really got along with me very well. But it's other people you have to deal with, the coaches, the general managers, the athletic directors. It's all big business these days, as you well know. And I certainly thank all of the neurosurgeons, orthopedic surgeons that I've known over the years. They've been a big part of my life. Thank you.